like an absolute monster. I want to go ahead and go over the statistics with you now because everything is looking pretty sweet. What is up, you guys? Thank you so much for stopping by once again. This is ARCa coming at you with a GTII technicals, raw price action, and statistical thread of analysis on this Hump Day Wednesday from my parents' kitchen. We're going to try this again, all right? So we're going to see if we can get this damn analysis done. Before we get started, please make sure to subscribe to the channel, like the video, and share the video with a friend so that you and them could consider joining our trading community in Discord called ARCa Bulls. With that said, let's dive right into the charts. So we're looking at GTII on the 12-hour chart here, you guys, the very same ascending channel that we've been riding for quite some time. I want you to go ahead and notice now that the the validation of our supports down here were absolutely just credible, right? And now we're continuing onto that upside. We already reached the target that we were talking about, and now it looks like we may actually do a tiny little pullback to around the 1210 to about the 205 area before a continuation onto the upside, if I were to guess this just on raw price action, right? So I have lots to talk to you about. Let's look at the 3-day volatility versus momentum profile, because this is where things are getting very exciting, okay? Now, if you are curious over the backtest that I'm doing or that I perform in order for us to get that upside probability, right? So this is volatility that you're looking at represented by this indicator BBWP. I pair this with stochastic momentum so that I can be able to gauge a direction bias. Okay, so anytime that volatility has expanded into critical volatility, which is the 90 percentile or within the 90 percentile of expansion, I have taken note of every time that we started a contraction phase towards the downside paired with stochastic momentum for an upside pivot throughout the entire trading history of the GTII asset on the 3-day chart. Okay, so these are all the iterations that you're looking at here. Okay, so I've measured every single time that happens. I've taken note of every time that it's been a correct guess versus an incorrect guess as well. Okay, so this is the entirety of the sample set. Okay, or the samples gathered for the data set that we're going to look at. Okay, so this is essentially what you're looking at right over here. Okay, so out of a total 31 iterations, 21 were guessed correctly to the upside, giving us an averaged upside accuracy of 67.74% with an averaged upside thrust of a massive 971.33% with an average duration of just over 22 and a half days. This is proof of work right over here. Okay, so now I want to go ahead and express to you the importance of this backtest, because more than ever now, yes, I still see 1 day, 15 hours to close this 3-day candle, right? But please notice now how we have jumped into the bullish control zone of the stochastics oscillator. Okay, this is very important. And now we have the slower moving average with a huge upside pivot, pretty much moonshotting right now. And go ahead and notice that we're still contracting very heavily. What it's basically telling me is that upon the closure of this 1 day and 15-hour 3-day candle, right, we're going to potentially see us diving in very close to the critical contraction zone alongside stochastic momentum suggesting a massive upside. Okay, so what that means is that we have a higher probability for the statistical outlook to actually play out. So if we were to apply 971% per move to the upside, that would take us to a valuation of about $10.13. Why does that sound so familiar? Well, first of all, let's take a retracement Fibonacci from the current range high to the range low so that I can just show you exactly what we're looking at. Okay, let's take it just like this and go ahead and notice right at the top side that the 4-spot 618 and 4-spot 236 are landing between 1095 and 1189. Guys, that's telling us that we are potentially looking at a $10 target for the GTII asset in the 3-day time frame. Do not think that this is a quick move. We have been evaluating this upside statistical target for weeks and weeks now. Okay, so the move is definitely in play. We are now in the bullish control zone and suggesting a continuation to that way up. Let's move on to the next chart and see what we have. Okay, so this is referencing the this says 8 hour. Let me just go ahead and correct that real quick. My apologies. So here is going to be 5 and D, and there we go. Okay, so this is the 5-day volatility versus momentum profile back test. I don't have an extensive back test like I did on the 3-day, but it's still a 7-year back test, and I have noticed same criteria here, okay, from critical expansion into contraction, and also paired with stochastic momentum with an upside pivot. Okay, so please go ahead and notice that out of a total 9 iterations throughout the entire trading history of the GTII asset on the 5-day time frame, 8 of those iterations were guessed correctly to the upside, giving us an averaged upside accuracy of 88.89% with an averaged upside thrust of 183.05% over the span of about 25.75 days. This is the proof of work. Okay, so what that is telling us is that we are yet the signal already fired a few weeks ago. Okay, so the completion of the 183.03%, 05% to the upside is essentially $3.60. Okay, so that is the target that the 5-day is suggesting for a continuation. Notice that we're getting very close to the bullish control zone as well on this. Okay, so the 5-day time frame could be a continuation from the 3-day statistical upside. So both of these time frames can work in conjunction together for a further upside. I am not going to tell you where because I don't know. Okay, but statistically speaking, mathematically speaking, these are the odds, and we are playing them out right now as we speak. Okay, I need you to remember that I'm not a financial advisor. Take whatever I do show and iterate within these videos as just a form of entertainment, as I cannot suggest for you to buy or sell any assets whatsoever. I need you to do your own due diligence, and everything will be just fine. Let's move on to the RSI 30-minute in the last part of the analysis here. Okay, so the 30-minute immediate short-term time frame suggesting consolidation. We can't use that for any type of bias. Okay, right here on the 4-hour, it is consolidation as well, but notice the slight upside pivot on the 14-day simple moving average, and notice the placement of your RSI signal right within the gravitational zone of the bull strength percentile. That is suggesting an upside continuation. All right, similar situation here with the 8-hour time frame, very close to that gravitational zone. And now as we move on to higher term time frames, you can see that the daily time frame is still suggesting upside. We have the 14-day simple moving average below us. That's good. Okay, that means that in case of any type of retracement, we can use that for a continuation onto the upside. Okay, now in the 3-day time frame, we still have an upside pivot, an absolute upside pivot here on the 5-day. We're definitely using that 14-day simple as a form of support, and we're continuing on to the upside, and it's looking very good in respects to the 30-minute, or even maybe, let me see, even maybe the 15-minute time frame. We can definitely see a potential retracement in the early part of the day back to the targets that I talked to you about in this channel. Okay, so maybe around the space of about 210 to about 205. Okay, so that's essentially what we're looking at. Okay, so I just want to make sure that I didn't have anything else to show you. Okay, so yes, of course, my apologies. This is a very important thing that I wanted to show you. Okay, so what you're looking at here is the potential of a mean reversion, right? So which usually happens when we're starting to contract from critical or starting to expand from critical. Okay, so you can see that we're just past the mean right now, and we are also just past the mean right here. So the mean on the 5-day is the 169 target. Okay, so go ahead and notice here that the top side of the Bollinger Bands right up here is suggesting about 334, which just so happens to rhyme with that $3.62 zone that we're looking at. Okay, so that $3.60 zone is confluent with a few other things too, and here's yet again another validation for 362. It was particular to the 5-day, remember. So the 5-day time frame is suggesting, here we go, the volatility versus momentum backtest is suggesting $3.62 with our target trend line right over here, 364, 362, right around there, and we have the resistance from the Bollinger Bands right there as well. Okay, this is another one that's suggesting 362. Notice the top side of the breakout point from this pennant. Okay, we take this trend line from the top side of the pennant all the way to the lower part of it and apply it to the area of breakout. When we do that, it takes us to a target of of what? $3.60 freaking 4 cents. You guys, come on. We are rhyming a lot right now. The upside suggestions are coming through very nicely, and the final validator here, the one spot 272 at $3.61. 360 is rhyming way too much right now. GTII asset is very, very highly likely to continue on to the upside here, and I tell you this not from an opinion based. I am telling you this based on mathematical models, based on the statistics. They are telling us that we are in play for that. This has nothing to do with me. You already know that I do not practice any fundamental analysis. I do not care what the CEO, when the CEO is going to take a crap. I don't care. I care about the statistics just like the way the institutions do, at least the systematic institutions, right? I say what the math says, and that's it. Okay, you guys, so that's what we're looking at right here. Very bullish GTII asset. Please remember to refer to the links in the description below if you would like to fill or reserve your seat and get enrolled to the ARC Masters trading course, which is going to be starting in April. Okay, you guys, so remember to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Also, come by and say hi to me on Twitter or join the ARCa Bulls trading community in Discord. With that said, I wish you well, a very, very good night, and I will catch you at the bell mañana. Adios.